Sorta Ridiculous is partially sponsored by Drunken Cobra. Drunken Cobra is an inclusive neighborhood pub in East Tosa. They offer weekly events like karaoke and music performances. Drunken Cobra is located at 6818 West North Avenue. Drunken Cobra, obey the snake.
We had a decent crowd for March Madness on Sunday when we breezed through. Too.
Yeah.
So if you like to watch the game, that's they have the game on.
Oh yeah,
Probably.
they're definitely the sports. That's where you sports.
That's where you do the sporting life. Yeah,
that's where you sports. Legit.
The sports, like cricket. Oh,
sports and karaoke.
Googly.
That's right.
All right, so. My name is Darren, and this is another episode of Sorta Ridiculous. Smash the button. Smash the button. 2 times now, y'all. Cha-cha, real smooth. Turn it out. All right. So, with me as always is my co-host, Billy Ray.
Hopla River West. I think it's Thursday. I can't say Happy Thursday because they'll be repeating the show.
Were you doing like Hopla or something like that?
Hopla. I don't know what language that is. It's not German.
Is it Polish?
Maybe.
Dumpa! Ass. That's what a dupa ass. I know that word. I at least know that word. That's very Polish. All right. So before we get into things, as you guys know, last week, well, you guys probably heard the first episode, but a couple weeks ago, Billy Ray and I did.
Well, it was just a week ago.
Was that?
That's
a week
why
ago?
we were playing the first show because you had to be.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right.
So we did Full Frontal Poopetry, the 8-bit show, triumphant return of the Full Frontal Poopets. And just for the uninitiated, a poopet is a puppet with an umlaut over this.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Pupit. Yes, very true.
Okay.
But we had our little sketch show with the puppets and had a pretty decent crowd for being a small.
Nice.
We were over at Brick House, and that
Okay.
was. We're going to do it again. Can't tell you when because I don't know yet, but we're going to do it again.
Yes, and I'm hoping to reprise my role, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yes. So,
We
yes.
need you as a puppeteer if we're going to be doing certain
Right.
skits. We need you. I know. I know
Right.
you're a star now, so.
Well, I'm a No. All right. So with that being said, speaking of stars, with us we have a very special guest. I'm very fortunate to know this person. She is a teacher, an actor, a writer, a dancer, a comedian. There's no end to what she does. She's very talented, and again, I'm very fortunate to know her. So today with us we have the one, the only, the comedian empress of Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
Chastity Washington.
That was like the Dune sequel you didn't hear much
Yes.
about. Comedian Empress of
Empress.
The empress of comedy
Well,
in these here parts.
yes, sir.
Let the jokes flow through you.
Girl, let it come. Let it come.
Infinite power. So
Thank you.
how are you doing?
I am great. I am blessed. I'm well. How are you?
And I am great. It doesn't get much better than this.
Very good.
It doesn't get much better than this. All right, so for you guys who don't know, well, you guys know, you should know by now that I'm venturing in stand-up now, producing shows and being funny every once in a while.
Venturing into stand-up like it's like you're your first level, going out there with your little wooden sword. And you've established a keep, a hold fast. You have minions. You've got you're some venturing out.
Well, I've done it for a little over a year. I don't even know what that means in what's a year
In comedian years.
in
Still
Korea.
baby. You still in your baby.
You see, I'm still wet behind the ears. But yeah, so this last show that I had at Drunken Cobra, which was the Enter the Cobra comedy show, I was very fortunate to have Chastity headline it, and it was a pretty jumping show.
Yeah, it was fire. That was fire. You had a great lineup, top to bottom. It was fire, man. I appreciate you having me. Good time.
Yeah, anytime. So this show is actually like our second time like being on the same show together.
Mm-hmm.
That first one was the John Barron show at O'Donoghue's,
Yep.
which I was cry laughing. Like so
Good.
your physical comedy is great. Like all of it is great, but like
Thank you.
I don't want to go into your bits, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying the MJ
For
bit.
those of you listening at home, he is moving his left arm in an up-down motion. I'm assuming if you've seen Chastity Washington's act, you know what this means. I have not witnessed this, so now I have impetus to come see you next time you come out. So I know I'll be like, oh, the whole left hand. Oh,
yeah, the arm swing.
That comes together, synergy.
So if you guys do want to see some of Chastity's stuff, she has her comedy special. Was it Chastity at the Live at Dandy?
Yeah, Chastity Washington live at Dandy.
Yeah, Chastity Washington Live at Dandy. It's on Tubi and Amazon Prime.
And YouTube movies.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Movies.
I saw that today.
Yes,
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. I'm like, yes, every one of them. Pick it up.
That's what I said.
Come on. Yes.
So how often do you check your vanity metrics?
I don't. I'm gonna give it a year. When I get to my year mark, then I'll look and see what my numbers are. You know what I mean? I wait till I get to the year mark, but I just leave it alone and just try to put it up. Every once a month, something like that. And like keep people like, hey, it's out there if you haven't seen it. Hey, go see it. Hey. So
No, I feel like, so I do stuff. Check it out.
Yeah. So I don't mess with it at all. I don't touch it. I just let it do what it's gonna do.
All right. That's very humble of you. All right. So with you being a new guest,
All right.
it is time for you to answer me these questions 3.
That's never not going to be silly, man.
Well, ever since you guys introduced that to me, and I was finally able to stay awake long enough for that movie to catch that part.
Who falls asleep during Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Me after 11:30.
I guess.
All right, old man.
All right, question 1.
Old man.
What is something sort of ridiculous about you?
Sort of ridiculous. I don't know. So okay, I'll give you something from some years ago. I would literally record things like hours and hours of Jackson material and then put index cards, minute point, exactly what it is for the 6-hour tape.
Yo,
Real talk. Like I literally am debating about doing a YouTube channel of some of the footage that I have. Like I have it like when it happened. Like this was 93, this was 92, this was 88,
And this is all videotape.
Yeah, all VHS stuff.
Yo,
of whom again?
Jackson material. So anything Michael Jackson,
Oh, okay.
Janet Jackson.
I was making sure which Jackson, but it's
Just
numerous Jacksons.
The bowl of them. The
bowl of
whole
them,
bowl.
bowl of Jackson.
Yes.
Freddie Jackson? No, I can't.
You know what I ain't gonna.
Jesse
I'ma
Jackson.
leave.
No,
I got all of Jesse's speeches. His run in '84, everything. No.
the Rainbow Coalition.
I'm neither left wing nor right wing. It takes 2
You
wings
are
to fly.
somebody. So.
Well, Eddie Murphy's like Eddie Murphy said.
Yes.
He won? No, that wasn't.
Right. Oh, Hymantown. Yes. That's my favorite.
You know what? I need to check out that collection.
Like,
you know,
hey, I'm debating. I'm like, I need to do like a YouTube channel or something because I have stuff I see people's stuff on like Instagram, and I'll be like, I have that. Like I know what it is right as soon as it comes on. I'm like, oh, that's Sonny and Cher, 1972. Oh, that's the Dinah Show in 1971. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I literally
yes, you're like the legit Michael Jackson archive or the Jackson archivist over here.
Which is so that's something ridiculous about me.
Okay, how do you get started? At some point, there's something's got to get you to this.
You know what?
Where
Because
you
I always wanted to. You know what? Okay, I'll give you a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
After the 84 Grammys.
Okay.
Right? So one of my neighbor who lived across the street, my grandparents lived in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood. So we were the only black people for blocks. And so my neighbor, they had a VCR. And of course, this is when they were brand new.
Sure.
And they had a recording of the Grammys. So every time I went to her house, I was like, can we watch the Grammys? Can we put the Grammys on? And when we finished with the Barbie car, can we put the Grammys on? You know what I mean? So, and every time I go over there, we would watch it. And so once we actually got one in the house, then it was like, hey, I got to be able to watch this stuff over. You know, I can't just do one. You know,
Right,
and
right.
so I started recording stuff myself. I taught myself how to, you know, time it, put the timer on. You know, you had to do the extra
Yeah.
buttons on the side and whatever. And so and then every time something was on, to the minute when the video premiered, anything, I recorded everything.
Nice. Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay, so what was like the biggest premiere for you?
The biggest premiere was probably Thriller, the actual video Thriller.
Like on
Oh, I
Friday
can
night
imagine.
videos.
Friday night videos. Yes,
I was there.
That was the biggest, probably. Yeah, because that was
It
bigger
was-
than everything. It was massive.
It was not just the video. We've got to remember this was like a half-hour
Experience.
movie, like
Yeah.
directed by John Landis, who was, you know,
It was incredible.
He hadn't landed any helicopters or any kids yet, so he was still like the biggest guy in Hollywood. I mean, he was, and they had the makeup, and they had the group dancing as the zombies.
It
and
was
just-
crazy.
And yeah, it was. I wasn't allowed to stay up that late, but was like, oh yeah, everybody stayed up. late.
Everybody stayed up. 'Cause
Everybody
it
stayed
didn't
up.
come
Everyone-
on till what, like 11 or
11, it was
midnight
like-
or something like that.
I think it was the one that came on, I think, on Fridays instead of like the Tonight Show.
yeah.
It was NBC,
So it was like
that
maybe
was
10:30, 11 o'clock.
Johnny Carson's day off, and
Yep.
so they'd show Friday night videos.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Because
solid.
there wasn't cable everywhere. I mean, MTV was a thing.
But everybody didn't have cable yet.
We didn't have it in Milwaukee not till a few
Till
years
like
later.
86.
Yeah.
What?
Uh-huh.
I want my MTV.
I mean, you had it in the suburbs. Like, if I grew up like on the border of like Bayview and St. Francis. I went over the border to my friends who lived in St. Francis. Yeah, they'd have them. They'd be the box with the buttons.
Yeah, the A and the B.
A and B. Well, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so that's wild.
It
That's
was like what, Time Warner? Was it Time Warner then?
There was a bunch of different ones. I
It
mean,
wa-
it was like,
but
depending on where you lived, it was where it was.
I think we had
Time
it
Warner was
Time Warner.
Milwaukee because
Yeah.
they got Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Yep.
yeah, so MJ Archivist. That's fantastic.
That's something ridiculous about me.
Yeah, that's definitely. All right, so question 2. What is something sort of ridiculous to you?
What's ridiculous to me? That people go 85 miles an hour to get past you, around you, and you end up at the same light. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I'm on both ends of that.
Ridiculous. What are you doing? We're here together. What?
I think.
Hey, I remember you. You were that jerkwad that was
That part.
trying to cut me off and killing me about 30 seconds ago. Hey, look at you,
Stupid.
right next to each
Stupid.
other. How you doing?
Stupid.
But you know what? They have
You're number
something to
one.
combat that now. They have those little things on the side.
Barriers, yeah.
Yo, that's funny. That is so. I've seen people tear their stuff up going through those. I'm like,
Why do you think these are styrofoam? Why do you think that? Like people running up on them like they there for a reason.
right.
Right?
Oh, and
not
the people
give it.
griping on what? Look at that! Like, ruin your car. Well, you shouldn't be driving into them.
That's the whole
seems the
point.
answer.
It's the point. It's making
But-
us stand in the line. That's
But their
it.
lives are more important than everyone else's.
Exactly. So they thought. So you thought.
See, and this is why we can't have flying cars. I believe we have the technology, but people can't drive on an
We wouldn't do
XY
well.
axis, man. You throw a Z in there,
It's
and,
over.
and forget about it.
People can't even do a roundabout. We
can't-
wouldn't
yeah,
make it.
we can't have the nice future.
We wouldn't make it, man.
Roundabouts are where it's at, though.
People don't do it right.
That's true.
You be like you jumping in double dutch. You ever see when people say, whoop, wait a minute. Would you go? Go.
Oh, catch the camera work at the one at the
Oh, my God.
south end of 6th Street, right in Walker's Point. There's cameras where they just catch people launching over that. I mean, it's like Dukes of Hazzard, you know? It's boom.
Good
It's
old
late at night
boy.
because they're, they're a little
Yes.
drunk and they ain't paying attention.
That's hilarious.
So what they're not telling you
Never meaning
is.
no harm. Okay.
Oh no! What they're not telling you is that it's just a Hot Wheels track.
That
It's
part.
either a roundabout or just whoosh,
Go over it.
them Duke boys. That's so funny. Yeah, but no.
Yeah, come on, Cooter. Yeah.
That's what I'm way out of
Yes.
my element TV wise, but that's okay. That's okay.
And you gotta know your classic TV.
Oh, I
And
know-
your-
I know
And your
Dukes of
classic
Hazzard.
theme songs.
Oh.
You gotta know, like, that's my second ridiculous thing about me, that I know numerous television theme songs for no reason.
All right.
Oh, wait, we're going to have to hit up karaoke night and we'll have to.
Me and you go in on the theme from
Love
Maud.
Boat, good
Come on,
times.
yes.
Oh,
Green
yeah.
Acres.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Green Acres is the place to be. Come on.
Living is the life for me.
Land spreading out so far and wide.
Get Manhattan, just give
Give
me
me
that
the countryside.
countryside.
Hey. New York is where I'd rather be. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
Yes.
It's the end of that one where he's like, "You are my wife," instead of just going,
Goodbye,
"So
City Life, right?
and."
Right?
Like, here, go pick these eggs real quick.
In this fur, she be in full guard
Oh yeah.
on the farm. Hilarious.
The infamous slapper. No, that's the first. Zsa Zsa Gabor. All I knew is that she slapped someone, and she has that voice.
Yes. Classic, man.
All right. So, question 3. What is something sort of ridiculous that has happened to you?
Okay, I have 2 stories.
Please, to tell.
First one. Okay, so I'm getting on the bus. I was on South 6th
Okay.
Street,
Okay.
headed home. And the bus is fairly clear, right? So I sit, and the seats were brown, in different older buses. Seats were brown, sit down. A woman gets like maybe 2 or 3 stops past where I get on. She gets on, and she sits on me as if I was a part of the seat. I know I'm brown, but I do not blend in here.
No.
And I'm talking about she sat on me. And I moved back like, sorry, excuse me. I'm in your way. I'm in your way, ma'am. I'm so sorry. And she's like, ooh, sorry about that. What? Did you just sit on me? Oh, my.
Was this lady like old? Was she like elderly?
No, she not completely. Like, she wasn't all the way, hot 70. No.
Oh, she just wasn't all the way there.
Man, apparently not. I'm talking about arm, hip. You know what I'm talking
Yo.
about? The whole half of my body, she sat on me. I was like, I know I got a coat on. I know. I'm not nude. I'm not blended in with this seat completely. She gotta see something. I got on shoes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she sat on me, and then I had an incident. This is about 2 years ago. I was checking out of a hotel in Atlanta. I was on my way home. I performed there that weekend, and I was waiting on my Uber. So I checked out at the table. It's a massive hotel.
Yeah.
And I come to the side door where my Uber was going to be pulling up. As I sit down, got my suitcases, luggage, everything. The security comes like, get out of here. Get out.
What?
Wait, sirs, gentlemen. I'm leaving. I'm just waiting on you get out. You don't, wait. So I don't know if they thought, I'm talking about they put me out of the out.
Yo.
Like escorted me out, bag and all, like push, like you got to get out before we go.
Like a cartoon, they just kind of you get some air and
You got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You got
yes,
jazz. That's
jazz,
crazy.
Got
straight
jazz.
jazz,
Yeah.
straight jazz. And I was like, I'm a paying customer. Like y'all just put me out this, So yeah, like that was ridiculous. I had never experienced anything like that. But I know that they had a lot of people in the area, that had been, trying to get into the hotel. They had a couple issues with some homeless folks, whatever. But I clearly was a traveler. You know what I mean?
Right,
Got
right,
bags
right.
and luggage, and man, they put me out.
That's wild.
Put me out.
Far out.
All right. So as a comedian, as a fellow comedian, I'm very curious. What are one of the most bizarre situations you found yourself in as far as shows concerned, maybe going there or leaving there, or the experience?
Bizarre?
Yeah. Or sort of ridiculous. There we go. Let's go with sort of ridiculous. That makes sense.
I don't know. Okay. I've won, this is from maybe 22 years ago, something like that. And it was just a basic like banquet. But the worst thing, and this is something just, it's comics, you never want to performing outside is not great. It does happen, but it's not necessarily great. And then performing when people are eating is the worst thing ever, ever, ever.
Yo.
Oh my God, it's horrible. So
Yeah.
I'm at this banquet, it's hoity-toity, people cute, and I'm, they start me, introduce me, people like, just getting they little chicken, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, they little cordon bleu, and all you hear is scrape, chew, 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 scrape,
No.
scrape, scrape, chew, chew, scrape. I was like,
Right, so good.
right?
What they hadn't counted on is you were testing a new gross out act. And,
But did any of them choke though?
You
I think that
know,
would be like
I
a
might have
good,
had a hot two, but people were eating and talking, and it was those are the worst. So that was like ridiculous.
Who
I'll never
does
forget
this?
that.
I mean, who books these sort of
But
things?
you know what? A lot of but see what happens is people have, especially when you have private events or receptions or things like that. They have like, oh, we have food, and then they be like, then we're gonna have the entertainment, right? But you got to give people time to eat, especially if it's a banquet line. Oh my God, and
Oh
or
yeah.
right? So then it may take however long, and they be wanting to get on with the program. We got to get this, and it's timed out and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that part is is the worst. I always request that, like when I do different events, like make sure people are done. I'm well after the meal or before.
Right,
Yeah, because
right.
that's it was horrible. Scrape, chew.
And just not having the attention.
No, people don't.
That's wild.
They not looking at you.
No, they try not to
They
get
are
mess on
focused.
themselves. They cute.
It's the table, right? You know what I'm talking about? People sitting up because they, hello?
Right.
Come on. So, no, that was ridiculous. It was awful.
All right. So, what made you start? What got you interested in doing stand up?
It actually happened. I was in college, and I tell this story all the time, but it's how it really happened. I was in college, and we had a talent show coming up in the union. This is my freshman year, and my best friend and other friends and people on campus were like, "Hey, you should do this talent show." And for years, people were like, "You should do comedy. You should do stand up." And I'm like, "Nah, I don't know nothing about stand." Even though I was such a fan of stand up and a fan of comedy, I just liked everything and everybody, but I never thought of it for myself. So
Right.
it really found me. I always tell people that I didn't pursue it; it found me. And so she signed me up for this. She was like, "Oh, I already signed you up," and I was like, "What?" I was terrified, like I don't know nothing about doing this, and they gave you like a 7 or 10 minute set or something like that.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
for the
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
still talent portion. Then they had like a magician at the end that was like the featured act, and so then I ended up going up, and they gave me extra time actually,
wow.
and it went really well, and I was like, okay, I think I got something here. Even though I was I was in school, I was playing basketball and
Sure.
in college, UW Parkside, shout out Ranger Bears, and yeah, so that's how it happened, and then it progressively went from there. So I continued to do it as I went on in school. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I didn't get really, really heavy until I got out of school, until I graduated, and was an adult.
An adult.
An adult.
Very, so, what very specific? I'm curious about a very specific experience. What was it like doing Comic View? Like, I remember watching that like a whole. Like, I watched a hell of a lot of Comic View.
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
even know the
Right.
It's an anniversary.
Yeah. Comic View on BET. Yes. Get your laugh on. Yes. Yes, it was same here. Watch Comic View all through high school, and watch Def Jam, also. And so it was an amazing experience. It was a team of people that I was working with. I was doing a play, understudying in a play, Trial of a Nearsighted Black Woman with Hansberry Theater Company here in Milwaukee.
Oh, Hasbury Sands. Yeah.
Hansberry Sands.
I'm familiar with them.
And so I was the understudy for the show, and I met some other actors from Chicago, and so they had come to some of the shows that I'd done, and they were like, "Oh, you're really funny. We should, help you get a tape." This is, 2001, so you still had to submit. And so at the same time, I got a chance to do what was called the Miller Finals, right? Which was something it was a yearly thing. It was a really big thing in the '90s. And they would have it every year, and it would be, rounds of comedians doing shows, and they pick winners from each one, and then they narrow it down to 8, and then 8 would perform at the at Navy Pier at this big show. Okay. And so I made it to the finals, and I was the first woman at that time since like Adele Givens, who by then was already hosting Def Jam and National and Big and everything. And so, I mean, everybody had been in it before, from, Bernie Mac and all the great comedians that coming out of Chicago. And so got to do that, and then got a tape, sent it in to oh, what was the producer's name? Her name was like Sydney McCurdy at BET, and they called me and I got it, and got to go to New Orleans. This is before Hurricane Katrina, and so got to be there. Me and a group of other comics from Chicago, and Bruce was the host.
Right,
And,
right.
That
Big
year,
Bruce.
yes, not medium.
Yeah, Big Bruce.
But when he, then, and it was an amazing experience. It was amazing to see people that I had watched, like, wow, that's, everybody you saw, was there. And then,
Right.
like, the big name comics taped in the evening. They did the late shows. And yeah. Yeah, and it was an incredible experience. I just remember, I had some nerves, but I was just like, okay, making sure everything was tight, and what was my set, what did I want to do, da 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 da.
Yeah. So, do you have like rituals, or whatever, before you do your show? Like, do you like listen to something, or what? Like, what are you doing before
I
your show?
used to, but not now. I just take the time to sit still.
Smart.
I sit still, and I pray. I look over my notes, and yeah, that's about it. I usually take a nap. If I have the day, I'll take the day. Like if I have a show, I'll take the day. I really don't do much. Some people do; they go do stuff and whatever. I need to conserve all the energy.
No, I
and,
feel you.
Yeah, and then be complete.
Especially as we get older, yes.
Yeah, you got to conserve all the energy, so that way the execution is where it needs to be.
Right. All right. So, we've talked a lot about your stand up, but and obviously you're active and whatnot. So what else are you doing? Like, what are you up to right now? What do you have coming up?
Right now it's just, I am focusing on the stand-up, but I have been doing a lot more acting. I'm in preparation for a performance play, Pieces in My Own Voice, which is a phenomenal play written by Brenda Wesley, who is a mental health educator. And she has a Miracle Network, which is a resource for the community. And I started doing this show back, I think we started either 2010 or 2012. We started doing Pieces, which gives a face and a voice to different diagnoses of mental health.
Okay.
So, you have someone playing the role of schizophrenia and PTSD and ADHD and anxiety and suicide, and
Yeah.
so, and the role that I play is suicide, and the piece that Brenda and I both wrote, I contributed to the piece, and so we've been doing the show since either 2010 or 2012, and we'll be performing May 18th.
May 18th.
Yes, so that's coming.
That's a
up.
Saturday.
Yes, it is.
That's
That's a
2 weeks
Saturday,
after my
yes.
birthday.
Oh, okay,
All
okay,
right, yeah.
okay.
I'm a Star Wars baby.
Hey,
Live long and prosper. I'm kidding. I didn't make the first week with you.
these are not the joys you're looking for.
All right, so Chastity, I want to thank you so much for being on Sorta Ridiculous Radio.
Thank you guys. This was great. This was
yeah.
great. I love that we get to laugh and do a couple theme songs. It's a wrap. Look, this is a good date.
It's that kind of show. It's
Yeah.
welcome and thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So catch you guys next week.